Hello and welcome to A Life That Glows Yoga. My name is Tanya Neely. I'm a registered yoga teacher with a master's in education and a passion for helping women move from feeling uncomfortable in their own skin and stuck in negative self-talk to feeling really at home in their bodies and capable to shift up that self-talk soundtrack. Today we're going to chat about how you go about setting an intention both on and off your yoga mat, the difference between attention and intention, and how you can use your attention to set a really purposeful intention for yourself. Let's do this together. So let's start with attention versus intention. Attention is all about this present moment. You can think of attention as presence or mindfulness in the moment, bringing your awareness to your current situation. This is the noticing, the observing, the being curious instead of judgmental, which we talked about last time. Attention is vitally important to setting an intention. You have to pay attention to what is going on in your body, in your heart, in your brain, in your life, both on and off the mat, the choices that you're making. Attention is only ever happening right now. It's noticing your breath. It's noticing how your temperature may rise, or an emotion or feeling that you're having, a thought that's passing through your head. Attention is the present mindful moment. Now, let's switch over to intention. Intention means having a purpose or a vision. If you have an intention, you are consciously choosing how you want to show up, how you want to respond, what's happening next, and what is going to help move you in the direction that you want to go. Where attention is only ever happening in the present moment, intention is all about deciding what you want your next present moment or your next present experience to be. Where attention requires all your five senses, intention really requires your prefrontal cortex of your brain. All that means is that you have to take time to really think and to plan. You need to start to consider why you showed up on your yoga mat in the first place. What is going to most benefit you over the next 60 to 90 minutes on that mat, and possibly how you want to feel when you walk off of the mat or step out of the yoga studio. Often you might hear yoga teachers say things like, let go of that which does not serve you. But I invite you to consider an intention as conscientiously choosing what does serve you best in that present moment, so that you can show up for that next present moment how you want to. This to me is the ultimate self-care. It's not a bubble bath and it's not just a glass of wine. It's intentionally and purposefully moving in the direction that you want to go while attending to your needs at that moment. Off your mat, you might consider what kind of life you want to live, what you'd like your job or your relationships to look and feel like, how you want to feel about yourself and your choices and your life in general. Now, this might feel like a far stretch from that 60 minutes on a yoga mat, but I invite you to consider that we don't just practice yoga to get better at yoga or get more flexible or more strength. We practice yoga to get better at living. So much of what we do on a yoga mat, we can transfer into our life at large. Now, if this sounds like a lot to think about, and it was more than you bargained for in this video, trust me, I totally get it. It is really hard to ask yourself these kinds of questions, and most of us don't do this in life, let alone on our yoga mat. It is hard to pay attention, and it is hard to live with intention or even to yoga with intention. We've all had that yoga or exercise class where we've just shown up and gone through the motions, or we found ourselves in poses or shapes that we've done many times, and we kind of just hang out there instead of actively paying attention to what's happening in that pose in that moment on that day. Off the mat, most of us have had a stressful day where we really don't want to sit down and figure out what those emotions are or pay attention to what we're feeling in our physical body or the thoughts that we're having. We just want to watch Netflix and grab a glass of wine. Most of us don't want to ask ourselves the hard questions because it means action. It means something is required, and that usually means some kind of change. Now, intention means vision or planning or thought, and most of us have made a lot of different plans in our lives and not followed through on them, myself included. So if this whole idea of living with intention or even yoga with intention feels overwhelming, or you're worried about setting some intentions and not following through on them, let's start with small baby steps on your yoga mat. Let's start to build that trust in yourself that you can follow through on these plans, and let's set some really realistic intentions right here on the mat. So here are a few practical examples of using your attention to set an intention. Let's say you've had that really stressful day and you notice that your breath is way up here around your clavicles and your throat, and it's been super shallow during the day. When you get to your yoga class, your intention might simply be to deepen your breath. And you can come back to that same intention throughout your time on the mat. You might even try adding in a simple mantra, deep breath, or simply breathe. Let's say you brought your awareness and your attention to your physical body and you notice that your hip flexors are super tight or your hamstrings are super tight, whether it's from sitting in an office all day or overtraining in your running. Your intention, based on that awareness and attention of that physical tightness, might be simply to take more time in poses that lengthen and stretch those muscles. So you may choose to not completely follow the instructor's cues, but to hold those poses longer in order to help release those muscles. Let's say your attention was drawn to emotions that you were feeling throughout the day or just before your yoga practice. And they could be big emotions like fear or anxiety, sadness. They run the gamut. Maybe your intention for that yoga class is simply to allow yourself to fully experience that emotion and let it move through you. And lastly, maybe your attention was drawn to the thoughts that float through your mind. Maybe you noticed some really critical or judgmental thoughts about yourself or about your body. A great intention to try out for that class might simply be to treat myself and my body with grace for the next 60 minutes. Or maybe you need something a little bit more concrete, that I'm calling a ceasefire on this rectangle for the next 60 minutes. These small steps of using your awareness to create an intention for your yoga practice can really help to start to build that confidence and build that trust in your ability to create a plan and follow through, whether that is on your yoga mat or whether that is in your life. It's also going to help you create an intention for your yoga practice that is absolutely meaningful to your present moment, and that's going to help you create the experience of your next present moment on purpose. You can join me here on Friday for a short and sweet yoga practice to help you use these intentions right there on the mat. And next week, please join me as we chat about meditation, mindfulness, and thought work. What the heck's the difference, and what does this all have to do with yoga? If you found this video really helpful and useful, please hit like, comment below, subscribe, and if you know a woman who should be part of this growing community and this important conversation, please consider sharing this video and this channel with her. As always, the light in me sees you and honors the light in each and every one of you. I'll see you on Friday. Namaste.